Hello, 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 stamping friends. Hello and good evening. You guys, I am Caron Bailey. It is Tuesday, March 4th. I am coming to you a little bit later than I normally would have, but I got home from work a little bit late. By the time I got dinner and so on and so forth, we are where we are now. I do apologize for going live a little bit later. But you guys, today is an eventful day here in the Stampin' Up! World. Lots of new products going live for you. We've got the whole bunch of online exclusives that just went live and available in our stores. We have two new kits, card kits for available. Lots and lots of new stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed Celebration. Um, I did. I got everything that I wanted, so now I've got to use up a lot of it. We're gonna make all of that work. Again, guys, I'm Caron Bailey. I'm your ATX Stampin' Lady. I have been an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! For almost 10 years. I enjoy bringing you projects and just working with you, bringing you projects. I enjoy crafting. I enjoy teaching others how to craft or how to make cards, because that's where my strength lies, in creating cards. And so I do want to thank you for joining me this evening for our Technique Tuesday. Technique Tuesdays, when I do go live with you on Tuesdays. So today's technique is coming to you live courtesy of Split Coast Stampers. Every Monday, Split Coast Stampers does technique. And yesterday, the technique was a ribbon pinwheel card. That was the technique. Very simple card, very few materials required. And so let's dive into it and do a little bit of card making for today. What are you going to need for today? Well, let me share with you the cards that I made from that technique. This is that card. Isn't this pretty beautiful? Very simple, very few materials that's required to make this card, and I'm just in love with it. So, what are we going to need? We are going to need some designer series paper, basic white cardstock. Um, we're going to need a coordinating color cardstock. You can pick one of the colors in your pattern, or you can pick a pattern that is that will augment that. Find a come up with a centerpiece or a focal image, and that's it, you guys. Very few pieces of paper. Well, guys, before I do that, let me start something. Let me share with you something that I'm starting. Are you a hashtag guru? Um, when I ask you if you are a hashtag guru, sometimes you'll see on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, you'll see people saying hashtag OMG or um, the acronym game. I guess that's what I'm going to call it, but it's all hashtags. Where people in this day and age, the culture is to shorten well-known sentence phrases, um, and shorten well-known phrases into letters and characters and see if people can guess them. Well, I came across this game. It's called Culture Tags, and I love the game. So I figured I will share this game with you guys. So at the top of every video, I'm going to share with you a hashtag, a culture tag, and you will be given an opportunity to guess what it is. Um, Everybody that enters a guess makes a guess. You will be entered into the drawing to enter into a drawing to receive a prize, whether that's the card that we make that night or a little gift of some sort that I'm going to share with you at the end. So definitely play along with me. I will post the answer. You will have, if I go live on Tuesdays, generally tend to go live on um, Tuesday Thursday, and Friday. So I will post the answer, the response, in the next video that I do. So for today is Tuesday. When next time I go live, it'll be on Thursday. So I will post the answer to Tuesday's video in on Thursday. Okay, so I hope you understood that. All right, so here is the clue, or is the hashtag. Now these are words to live by. So GDLU. Okay, those are and I'm going to give you a hint. This is something that you say when someone or yourself, because you can say it about yourself, you do something that someone wouldn't approve of. Okay? So, enter your guesses in the comments of what you think GDLU means. Okay? I'm going to leave that here. Well, maybe in here where you can see it, and remind me to mention it again. Okay? All right. So let's get started with parts and pieces that we are going to need. We are going to need a stamp set of some sort. I'm going to turn my fan on, y'all. I don't know. It's cold here, and I don't know why, but so I need the fan on. Hey, folks are joining me. Please say hello. Say welcome. Let me know where you're watching me from. And don't forget to enter your guesses as to what hashtag GDLU means, okay? All right, so this version of this card I saw from independent demonstrator Wendy Lee. She did a presentation of it on Split Coat Stampers, and that's of course where I got the technique from. So what will we need to make this card? Obviously we're going to need a stamp set. I'm using one of these floral images as my my focal piece. Not sure which one. This is the Everyday You and Me stamp set. Now, this stamp set is I think it's an online exclusive, but it goes with, but it's with the scrapbook memory making section. This coordinates with the Everyday You and Me scrapbook workshop kit. You don't have to have this to do the workshop, but it coordinates with that workshop kit. I think I'm going to be using some paper from the Floral Delight DSP pack. That's what I'm going to be using. I broke out my Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. This may be retired because this was from 2023. And then obviously we're going to need our embossing folder, our embossing machine. We're going to need a paper trimmer, a scoreboard, and of course cardstock. So what are we using for cardstock? Here's our measurements. I am going to try to do a blog so where I can post the measurements for you so you can follow along with that. So for this evening we are going to need one piece of, this is a card that we made, that we're making. We're going to need one piece of basic white that's 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that is, what did I just do with that? That is 3 3/4 by 5. Although I have 3 of them, that's fine. I only need 2. We're going to need a coordinating colored cardstock that is 5 1/8 by 7 3/4. That's this one. Yes, that's this one. We're going to need 2 pieces of the same color or whatever you're going to use as an accent. You need 2 pieces of that. That is a 1-inch square. And then we're going to need some designer series paper. Okay? And I'm going to cut my paper with you. So this paper, we need one piece that is all of it needs to be 1 inch long, right? So I'm just going to set this right here at 1 inch. We're going to try to get as much as we can out of it. That's 1 inch. So we're going to need one piece that's 1 inch by 4 inches. We're going to need one piece that is 1 inch by 2 3/4 inches. And then we're going to need two pieces that is 1 inch by 2 inch. Thank goodness I have this right here. So I'm going to measure this off at 1 inch. Nope, I think it's got to be this way. Actually, I could do it this way. So if I do 1 inch this way, this is why we don't waste any paper, right? I don't like waste. 1 inch, or at least as little as possible, by 2 inches. All right. That's all we need. So before we get to dealing with any of that, we're going to take one of our 3 3/4 by 5 pieces of designer series paper, and we're going to score it at 1.5. Okay? And you don't have to score it. You can use a hi. Ooh, the Netherlands. Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So you don't need to score your paper. You can just take a pencil and lightly make that line. Of course, you'll have to erase it, or you can do like I do, not cut it. Move your cutting blade out of the way, and just score it. I find that for me, I see it much better, and so I prefer to score than to make that line. What's the weather like in the Netherlands? And then we're going to turn the paper 180 degrees and do the same thing again. We're going to score it at 1.5. Excuse me. We're going to put our trimmer away for just a little bit because we'll need that in just a little while. All right, so what we need to do is we're going to take, so we have our designer series paper. Now, you have the option, you can pick any paper that you'd like to use. You have to be careful with this design in making sure that your pattern, if you have a directional pattern, that you lay it in, you align it properly, okay? So what I'm going to do with this one, having decided, well, you haven't seen it, right? So with this one, if you have a directional pattern, right, say, oh, it's 4 a.m. Okay, oof, just above freezing. Oh my goodness. So if you have a directional pattern and you cut it and you put and your image is this way, but you're going to put it this way, then you'll have not made the best choice and the best use of your designer series paper. So if you are going to be using directional patterns for your designer series paper, you need to pay a little bit of attention as to which piece you're wanting to put in which alignment to make sure that you put your accent pieces to get your pinwheel effect correct. Okay? All right, so before we do any of that, we do need to cut our um, 1 inch squares, and we are going to cut these on a diagonal. I'm going to bring my little trimmer in. And when you cut on a diagonal, all you do is you put the points tip to tip in the cutting track and cut it off there. I can see on my my guillotine type trimmer So I'm going to use it that way. Sometimes it might be easier for others if you use the Stampin' Up! Trimmer to be able to align it properly. Your call, whatever works for you. Okay. Now, I don't particularly think that my images are directional or my designer series paper, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I'm going to share with you what I mean about with directional paper. Okay. Now, when I did my first card this morning, I ended up just putting my pieces, my diagonal, I just put them on there. I didn't pay any attention to how anything would line up, where they would go, which is why I gave you that tip about making sure that you know how things are going to align, right? And these are just going to be used as guides, okay, so that you can see where, how to line things up. So you can go ahead and pre-lay them um, on your cardstock, no adhesive, to make sure that you know how things are going to go, okay, and where you need to put your accent piece. So if I wanted this to be my focal, then I'm going to make this down here, but I'm going to cut that off, right? Either way, this is not going to be my focal. But if that's how I'm going to do that, then I know this is the 1 inch by 2 3/4. That's how this is going to go. This is one of our 2 inch pieces, right? I want to have more of the yellow pop in here. And again, this is why I chose non-directional paper. I didn't want to have to spend, this is meant to be, for me, a quick and easy project. So I didn't want to have to do too much thinking in terms of how things were going to lay out. All right, that's going to go there. And then the last piece is going to come here. But I think I want this to go this way. Okay. And then this little guy is going to go right here. So once you cut your pieces out, you can just kind of play around with it to see what kind of effect you're going to have. Could you cut at, could I cut a 2 by 2 square? Okay, the at symbol came up. Sorry, so I was struggling with that one a little bit. Could I cut a 2 by 2 square and cut the DSP strips on the diagonal? Let's finish this one and then we'll come back to your question um, and see how that works. If we can make that fit into this pattern. So let's put a pin in that one and we'll come back to that, okay? Because there's always more than one way to skin a cat is what I'm told. All right, so for me in this instance, liquid glue is your friend. Kind of just put a little bit on there. If you don't have or you really don't like liquid glue, pull out this silicone craft sheet and adhere your adhesive um, with the aid of your silicone craft sheets. Okay, but I love liquid glue. It definitely gives me that extra time that I need to align pieces together. I can't do anything in a straight line. I just cannot. Even with a ruler, it's going to be crooked. So I just need that a little bit of extra time to make it not as bad as it could be. Okay. Any guesses yet as to what our hashtag of the day, and I'm going to put these back so I know where these are supposed to go. I say that all the time. I say it myself all the time, for real. I say it at myself, and I say it about other people. So it's one of those things that you can say um, to yourself, but mostly I say it to other people. All right. And Nikki, I hope I said your name right. If I said it right, give me a thumbs up. I Nikki, is that if that's correct? So if you're saying could you cut a 2x2 square, is that designer series paper that you're talking about, or the matte color? Which color are you talking about cutting at, or your accent piece? I think it's the accent piece because you're saying and cut the DSP strip on the diagonal. All right, so once we have this in place, we're going to start adhering. Now we did our scoring or our pencil marks, depending on whichever one you did. We did that primarily to give yourself a guide in terms of where to lay your strips. Okay. Now I am using my glass mat. So in this particular instance, I'm going to lay my pieces. I'm going to start with the bottom edge of this designer series paper on the top line, top of the score line instead of under. So I'm going to go above. Okay, align it. Make sure it's as straight as I can get it. Double check. And then I'm just going to, you can cut it, but I'm just going to fold this in the back like so. I always keep some cut. Okay, I see it. So we are definitely going to try that. When I get a little bit of glue and sticky on my hands, I keep a lot of hand sanitizer and alcohol in my craft room. That way I can help remove some of the sticky before it becomes a problem, which I could see that it was starting to do so. Okay, so the next one is this one. This is our 1 inch by 2 3/4. I have set a goal for myself. I am currently at 252 subscribers to my YouTube channel. And my goal is by the end of this month, the end of March, I would love if we could hit 300 subscribers. I would love it if you could like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Share it with all of your crafty friends who might be looking for a new flavor of card maker. My style of card making is simple yet elegant. That's what I call my style. I'd love to see, oh, find that, and it's not just the British, so I'm making a generalization here, okay? But I love to see a lot of the British card makers, the cards that they make. Um, if I can use a comparison, what is her name? I think it's Sarah from Crafter's Companion. I do see a lot of, like, I'm gonna say mostly my European, let me not say British, my European card making friends. The cards that they make are just very beautiful, but there's a lot of I'm going to say stuff in their cards, right? Um, Beautiful cards, don't get it twisted, but it's just so many layers, and I tend not to do a lot of layers. Okay, and last, okay, and you're going to keep the DSP the same size, the 1 inch wide. We're definitely going to try that. You know, there's nothing wrong with trying something new. We might come up with our own new card fold. Perfect. Guys, and that's it. Okay, our design, our ribboned pinwheel is pretty much complete. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go in with my embossing folder. You can choose whatever embossing folder you like. For this project, I kind of liked the looks of the, and I believe it is retired, the Countryside Blossoms embossing folder. So that is the one that I'm going to use to finish this card. Oh, and before I do that though, ha ha ha, we do need to stamp our sentiment. So much joy. I like so much joy. Better together. Let's see what we're going to use in here. And of course, we got to think about our space allocation, right? So much joy can fit. Um, Love every moment can fit. Better together can fit. So all of them can fit. Lots of layers, not for me. Postage is way too expensive. All right. So do we have anybody have a preference as to which sentiment? I like love every moment or better together. If you have a favorite, let me know. Of course, we could stamp them all out and then pick one later. Hmm. I just did on Sunday. I hosted a Scrapbook 101 workshop. It was the very first time I had ever done a scrapbook layout. We used the Everyday You and Me workshop kit. That's new with, well, it's fairly new at Stampin' Up. It was so much fun. So that workshop is a two-part session. Registration for the class was $20, or if you wanted to, if you purchase the kit from one of myself or my co-host, our website, then you would registration into the class was free. It was a lot of fun. All right, so all I'm doing right now is conditioning my stamp. While I try to decide what I'm going to stamp with, what color. Now, if you are going, you do not have to emboss, right? But if you are going to emboss, it helps if you do your stamping first. Whatever stamping you're going to do, you should do that before you do anything else, okay? Because it would be a little bit more challenging to try to get to try to stamp on something that has already been embossed. So that's another thing that we need to keep in mind. So I went ahead with the VersaFine. VersaFine is like my favorite ink, right, guys? It takes a moment for it to dry, which means I have plenty of time to be able to add um, my clear embossing powder. Love every moment. Okay. Which one? Which did you order? We have to finish our layout on Sunday. All right, there we go. So there's 3 layouts that come in that kit. 3 2-page layouts. Do you scrapbook? I don't. I had never scrapbooked before, but I just absolutely loved that paper that was in that kit. Oh my gosh, that was adorable. Of course, I had to have extra of it too. Of course, I had to have extra. I am a paper hoarder. I most definitely am a paper hoarder. I just made a mess on my table. Ah, that is definitely a beautiful one. Okay. All right, let me get my heat tool going. I am going to triple emboss, or at least double heat emboss. Guys, scrolling on the bottom of the screen, you'll see my contact information. If you do need to reach out to me for any reason, feel free to contact me either by email, or you can go to my online store and contact me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you watch the replay in this instant, leave a comment. I'd be more than happy to get back to you as soon as I can. So in the double heat embossing process, you've got to move kind of quickly. Oh, that is cool. All right, so we're done with that bit of heat embossing. And so now I'm just going to step out for a second, grab my embossing machine, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, however you look at it. I am going to do that a little bit off screen, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about our embossing folders is this design line that's here. I definitely use it to align things. It's just one more effort of trying to make sure that I get things lined up straight. All right. I will be back in just a minute. Now, the other thing I probably should have thought about is if your embossing folder is a directional um, embossing folder. Sometimes they are. So these are things that you got to keep in mind, is if whatever you're using is directional or not. Oops. All right, so I want a better impression rate before I do that. So I'm going to spritz with a little bit of water. Okay. And what all water does is going to help to, um, when the embossing folder is helping to break the fabric, it's going to make sure it doesn't tear or crack. Okay, so you just need to mist it just a little bit. Moisten it. You don't want it to be like completely drenched. So keep that in mind. It just get a better impression and you don't crack. when you emboss. All right, let's get this through the machine and see what we got. All right, look at that. Can you see it? Just added that little bit of extra texture, a little bit of extra polish, a little bit of extra on your design. All right, so this is done. We're going to set this aside for just a second while we create our accent pieces. Now, because of the embossing, you really don't have to do a lot of anything. Matter of fact, you really could just put a gem right here. You could just put a ribbon right here. Matter of fact, it's not what I'm gonna do, but you could do that. Um, Here we go. Here we go. Just gonna do like a quick bow. And I do these quick little faux bows. I wrap a couple of times. I use my third hand. My third hand as my reversible tweezers. Grab a hold of it in the middle. I grab another piece. Make a little bit of a knot. Put this puppy right through there. What happened here? Apparently not all reversible tweezers are created equal. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. We're going to start our knot, right? Then we're going to put this right through it. And then secure right in the middle. Center it. There we go. And then finalize that knot. Okay. So, like I was saying, you could literally just put a little bow right here to finish off that project, right? You could put a gem right here to finish off that project. But that's a little simple. So I am going to stamp one of our little floral images right here. And I don't want it too big because I still want you to be able to see the pinwheel effect. So I'm going to go with one of our smaller flowers, this one right here. Okay. And I'm going to stamp this and die cut it out or fussy cut it. It's probably going to be quicker for me to fussy cut it. So colors that are in here are Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Pecan Pie, and Pool Party. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start with my lightest color. That's my Lemon Lolly. Ink that up. Ugh, I just stuck my thumb right in this ink, and I'm going to get it everywhere. Hold on. Okay, Lemon Lolly. Uh, what was the other color? Daffodil Delight and Peach Pie. So I'm going to grab both. I'm going to play with this just a little bit. Let's see. Just a little bit around the edges on one. And try to get a mix match of colors so we can see what colors we're going to blend out here. But I don't want to completely obliterate the Lemon Lolly. Let's add a little bit more. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not perfect. Let me see what it looks like with just my... I think I'm going to go with just that one. Guys, you can use also, just grab one of the ephemera packs from from Stampin' Up, our online stores. Find an image in one of those ephemera packs that you like that could go with, and use that for your image. Oops. So I'm just fussy cutting this out really quickly. So I do hope that you try this ribbon pinwheel card. And if you do decide to try it, pop back into my Facebook group and share your images with me. I would love to have it. I'll have you join me and see your work as well. So we're going to put this one right here. I think that'll be cute. Simple and cute. But of course, I have to have some sort of blingy wingy. So I'm going to grab my Wink Stella pen. And I'm just going to zhuzh this up just a tad. Okay. I do want my my little ribbon to be in there though. So let's figure out that part. Oh yeah, that'll work. All right, so for me, what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of um, score tape. Burnish that in there. Remove my backing. and then align my little flower right over, and then spread the loops out. So we kind of have good coverage there, right? Are you going to go to Onstage? I'm excited for Onstage is it next week? Yeah, Onstage is next week. Oh, right? And then I'm going to put a glue dot right in the center, or a dimensional, because that's not a glue dot, right? And then put our little center, little floral image right in the center. I think I probably need to do another one. Okay. So another. And then I'm going to do one on that side as well. Perfect. If you find that you need to add more, then go ahead and add some more dimensionals, or to make sure you secure. But this is done. Okay. All right. So now what we need to do is add. We're going to add this. Before we do that, I want to add just a little bit. It's not in the kit. There's no stamp set, but it does coordinate with the kit. Correct. It does coordinate with the Everyday You and Me uh, kit. Okay, and I'm just going straight to paper, and I'm just embellishing my border. You can use just a, what's that thing called? A sponge dauber. You can use a blending brush. I just choose to go direct ink to paper and drag. Okay, perfect. Now, we are going to add, so you had a half sheet, your card base, or your inner card base. This is your piece that is 5 1/8 by 7 3/4. Now, I'm not going to measure, guys. I'm just going to fold it in half to find my middle. You can use your scoreboard. You can use your Stampin' Up trimmer if you wanting to make it a little bit. Um, if you actually want to find the center, okay? But if you just fold it in half, you have the center anyway. More to order. I know, it is addictive, isn't it? All right. So then we're going to mat this layer. And I like a lot of dimension, y'all. So I am going to grab me a piece of one of my sheets, my foam adhesive sheets, trim it down. Grab my glue scissors. Kind of estimate. I don't measure anything, y'all, in case you didn't realize that, right? I kind of just eyeball it and hope it fits at the end of the day. Right? And I throw nothing away. These strips of foam sheet will come in handy. I store them, and when I need them, they will come in handy. All right. I'm going to put our foam sheet right over our cardstock, our focal image here, like this. Burnish that in just a bit. And here we go. You know, I bought a T ruler specifically to help me with aligning things, and I never use it. I don't know how that made sense to anybody, but yeah. You can't say you don't have the tools to do the job. You just sometimes don't reach for that tool when you need to do the job. Right? All right, so now we have our card base that is that is 4¼ by 5½, which is a half sheet, and then we're just going to mat this piece. Oh, before I do that, if you are going to stamp something on the inside, now would be the time to do it. Did I put that away? No. So on the inside of my card, I'm going to stamp the same rose, because that's what it looks like, a little rose to me. And I'm just going to stamp them. Go off a little bit, like that. Okay? Just a little something something on the inside. You can stamp more if you'd like. I'm just not going to. I generally don't put a sentiment on the inside of my card. I leave all of that room for writing my a greeting or sentiment or whatever, making it a little bit personal. But I tend not to put a stamped sentiment on the inside of my cards. I will design it by putting an image on it, but I won't stamp. Okay. So I'm not doing another layer. Normally I would pop that up again, but I'm not going to do that tonight. Again, with the cost of shipping going up, yeah, we got to really be mindful about that. I find that now a lot of my card making style is heavily influenced by, wait, will it go through, wait, will it go through postage? Will it need extra postage? You know, that kind of questions. Instead of just designing, uh, instead of just designing. There we go. Now you can always change out you can always change out colors, you can change out measurements, you can do whatever it is you need to make this card your own. I will put some embellishments on here. Because I need to balance it out just a bit. And there you go. There you have it, guys. This is the ribbon pinwheel card technique. I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you have any questions about how we did this way, definitely reach out to me and we can definitely do it again. Now, I'm going to try to see, let's see, let me scroll back through. So, cut out of cardstock 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay, let's find some random cardstock. Well, that would look good. It's different. That's 2 inches by 2 inches. Trying to see what scrap I've got laying around that I can use. Okay. They may not match exact, but here we go. So we said get some scrap that's 2 inches by 2 inches. All right. So we've got our 2 inch by 2 inch scrap. And so now what was the recommendation? Let's see. And then cut the DSP strips on a diagonal. I'm assuming you want those to be still the 1 inch width, correct? Are you talking about something like that? Oh, I'm afraid I'm not following your instructions. Okay, so let me do 1 inch. That's not going to fit in there. That's 4. So we had 1 inch by 4. And then cut the 1 inch strip on the diagonal. Is that what you're meaning? All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Not the whole strip. So obviously I'm not following instructions very well. All right, so I'm going to have to play with that one a little bit in my brain because I'm not wrapping my head around what it is you're wanting me to do there. So if you want to reach out to me, either leaving a message in the chat or reach out to me in my Facebook group, or email me and we can talk about it, then we can definitely do that. But I would love to work out with your idea to see if we can make it work. Because I'm not understanding. And this is when I do Mystery Monday. Oh my gosh, my mystery events. Oh. All right, guys. So Thursdays are Case the Catalog days. And of course, we're coming to the final end of our current annual catalog. A new catalog will be coming out. So I will be focusing my Case the Caddies on the annual catalog products, just in case there's a lot you have in there that you haven't played with at any point. So I'll figure out which one I'm going to work with, not the whole stamp. So if you can, cut the 1-inch strips at the same diagonal to make a pinwheel. Mm. I think I got it. I think I'm understanding. I think 1 inch, the same 1 inch, but it's the DSP that's diagonal, right? That's what you're saying? Did I get it right? Did I get it right? Or did I understand right? Is that what you mean? The same diagonal as I used. Okay, yeah, it could be because it's late at night for me and my brain is not working because I'm not getting what you're saying. Something like that, right? All right, so I'm going to have to sleep on that and work with this. Huh. That's not going to work. But we could do that, something like that, but then you're just going to have that in the middle. Almost. Just cut one end. Oh, almost. I think I know what you're talking about. Let me, if I figure it out, I will come back, um, and I will do another pinwheel card. If I figure out what you're telling me, I'll come back and I'll do another pinwheel. Let me write it down. Pinwheel using 2-inch cardstock square and 1-inch DSP diagonal. All right. So I am going to try to figure that one out for you, okay? Or for myself, really, because it's not necessarily for you, it's for myself. And see if I can make that work. All right, guys, so thanks for joining me this evening. I really, really appreciate the company. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And join me either on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. The last Friday of every month, I do a paper pumpkin kit together on Zoom that I stream to YouTube. I would love to have you come join me in my Zoom room in the craft room to create a little bit with our paper pumpkin kits. On that note, you guys, good night again and happy stamping.